Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Good evening everybody, Militiaman. It's Friday night and I'm glad to be with you guys. Hey, we got a few things that we're going to be talking about tonight, a little bit fast and furious because there's not a whole lot to say, but whatever we do say is probably going to be pretty powerful. Look, everybody knows that, at this stage, that we do have www.patreon.com/Militiaman and Crew, which is MMANDCREW. So if you guys haven't been there, please come check us out. We get more and more information from the Super Samson, our news hound. She brings it in nightly. And if you haven't been exposed to the Discord chat room, our wonderful Gigi, she helps with bringing everybody in and getting them sorted and lined out, because it's a really enjoyable experience. So come join us if you have the time and opportunity. I appreciate that. Here's an article that's out today. I'm going to just go briefly. It's talking about the federal court strengthens Baghdad's financial and political sovereignty over their territory. There's some pros and cons about it. That some suggest that they interpret this decision as to be an authority over the state, and it'll represent a situation where they won't ever get their independence. Okay, that sounds pretty powerful. But ultimately, on the other hand, this decision by the federal court can be seen by a guarantee of the rights of employees. In other words, they're probably going to get paid their money. I mean, think about it. Could you imagine going months and months or a year or so without ever knowing when you're going to get paid? Is the country borrowing money or financing it? Well, what are they doing? So ultimately, this is for the rights of the employees, guaranteeing them the continuity of receiving their salaries in accredited banks. So international banks will back this stuff up, I guess. Rather, there will not be any delays or problems anymore. What is it going to do? It's going to create stability and confidence for the citizens in that the financial system is in place and working properly. So what is it going to do? It's going to contribute to the promotion of economic and social stability in the end. And the logic of that is keep the citizens happy. That's government employees and down to everybody. Just have it done properly so that everybody gets paid on time and with transparency. So the federal government and the Ministry of Finance are required to coordinate with the Ministry of Finance in the Kurdistan region to quickly start settling the salaries of Kurdistan region employees. The head of the New Generation Parliamentary Bloc, Sarwa Abdul Wahed, indicating that, quote, the settlement process will end the suffering of employees in Kurdistan. So that sounds pretty good, sounds pretty powerful. And it goes on to say that the region has received salaries, or a series, not salaries, but a series of federal decisions that were feared by the Kurdish authorities because it affects political influence. Well, they've got probably a little bit of a problem because the political side of things, they weren't taking care of the citizens. And so in this particular case, once the citizens start getting regular payments, that could definitely have a problem with those on the political side that were not following through and getting this stuff done. So I'm not going to get into the political side of it, but the bottom line is the article has the pros and cons. You can come into Patreon and read that, make your own decision. But the positive side of it is, and what we are seeing is that they're pushing for the new taxation systems, the Escada system, and it's for the citizens. It's to generate non-oil revenues and to facilitate them moving forward. Even today, I didn't go over it now because it's not terribly important, but there's going to be a law that's going to be voted on or around the 24th. That's probably going to be an after effect, but the bottom line is it's going to be about an industrial revolution. And Iraq is going to go through that industrial revolution because they're going to rebuild the country. And the evidence is quite clear. The fascinating part about it is that we had Al Sudani just recently, specifically his government says that they were at least going to do the project to delete the zeros, and to it ineffectively stating that. And what he said was, or what the government said was, is that they were going to have the Iraqi dinar to be worth 1.32 dinars to the dollar. That equates to about 0.76 cents or 7-8 cents, whatever that number is, do the math. But that's what it means. So when those folks that talk about LOP, how do they explain that? They can't, because that's not what it is. So it's fascinating. And then they not taking into consideration, if they're not taking into consideration a real effective exchange rate, very misleading information. The government of Iraq said it, not me. We just report it. So I hope you guys take that seriously and enjoy, because it's fascinating. I think even those that were on the LOP situation and promoting it, and even coming at militiaman and crew, hey, reach out and apologize, because the fact remains is it's kind of a vindication, which is a really cool thing. And we knew about it days and days ago, but here we are, just bringing it back up. Hey, the Al Sudani's government, as meeting, is taking three financial decisions, and picture three financial decisions. And what I picture, okay, is that the Ministerial Council of Economics was probably involved. There was a photograph that came with this article that we don't have it here today, but the bottom line is that Taif Sami, Al Sudani, and Moshan Al-Alaq were all in a meeting. And by the way, all of them are in the Ministerial Council of Economics. And if you look at the photograph in the article, it says, chaired by Al Sudani, a government meeting takes three financial decisions, okay? Check it out, look at the picture, you'll see rows of people, but you'll see Alaq, see at the top of the table, Sudani, and to the left will be Taif Sami with all the other board members. So the feel I get from that, okay, the feel I get is that that's probably the Ministerial Council of Economics. And what do they have? They have three decisions. One, the Ministry of Finance begins paying government debts to the Trade Bank of Iraq. Okay, so there's some debt. Preparing a plan to be presented to the Council of Ministers regarding the repayment of troubled loans. We've talked about this before. I've been on record of talking about Al-Alaq having an interview talking about bad loans a few years ago. I think it was actually before he went to the AMF as one of the head board members, president, or deputy president, whatever they call it. And then he's come back since then, but the bottom line is he gave value to those loans. Those loans were valued at a very high rate to the dollar, to be fair. I did my work on it. Nobody ever come back on me with respect to that. So think about it. That previous era that they talk about, when they shut off Iraq, was at about $3.22. And there's plenty of data about that. You can realize that Al-Alaq, if you can go back and find it, might not be easy, but the bottom line is when he's talking about those loans, and then when they talk about going back to a previous era, his loans were valued significantly higher than that. So I'm not going to tell you the numbers because I don't have it exactly in front of me, but the cool part is that is factual data that is out there. It says forming a joint committee to study expired credits, okay, in order to return its funds to the public treasury. So, all right, so credits is interesting. There's an article that's out today, and I don't think I put it into our forum just yet, or have had a chance to do it, but the European, what is it called? I think it's called the RESPA or something. I'll get to it. Look, the bottom line is the European side of things, they have acronyms for all kinds of stuff, but the bottom line is they're going to start to jumpstart, because they delayed their system, electronic payments systems, credit systems, to be interlinked with the ISO 2002022. And that starts on Sunday. That's this weekend. If you look at what Al Sudani and Taif Sami, they talk about credits. And one of the things that Credit and Settlement has a big picture with the European country and what they're doing by interconnecting this weekend. Does it have an effect? It looks like it could have an impact, because if we're talking about changing the value of something, it's going to have an effect on credit. So if you borrowed money at X and you got to pay back X, is there a relationship there? Yeah. If the dinar revalues and the whole value changes, do I have to pay more money because the revalue? Probably not, because there's got to be a component of equivalency involved in that. I think that that's what they're talking about, is that they have to take care of these private sector loans. They have to make sure that the decisions that they make have everybody on a level playing field. That's out today. Then we have the al-Abadi. You remember him? He was the prime minister. We all thought that he was probably going to get it over the edge, but he wasn't. He didn't. He actually had some videos that showed that he wasn't well received at the White House lawn. Okay. Aside from that, al-Abadi, though, is still a political figure. He's respected. He was relatively a good man. I think he might have had some issues when it came to the Panama Papers, but I'll leave that to you guys to look that up. I think there's a significant amount of money that was involved in that. But again, today he's still a figure that is to be respected, and he's confirmed his support for the current government steps in support of the Iraqi dinar. So what the current government, which is al-Sudani, he says to him, he says, I was in a favor of supporting the dinar in the government of Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, despite the objection of some political forces. As you know, there's some political forces out there that do not like al-Sudani's way of doing things. Because why? Because it exposes corruption. It exposes the graft, the money that's been stolen. It's money that's been stolen. So here we are. Check this one out. It says al-Sudani is under great pressure from Mansour Barzani for these reasons. What pressure? Well, Mansour Barzani is putting significant pressure on the federal prime minister not to comply with the federal court's decision. So Barzani is putting pressure on the court's decision stipulating the settlement of salaries in the region through federal government banks. So the guy's like, hey man, hey Part, do me a favor, don't go with the federal court. I don't think Sudani's going to do that. It's pretty funny, but the bottom line is that they effectively asked him to do so, and basically what did al-Sudani say? He stressed it's time to unify the salary distribution system across Iraq without hesitation. So do it now. Powerful stuff. Without hesitation, al-Sudani says it's time to unify the salary distribution system across Iraq without hesitation. You gotta love that, you guys. It's Friday afternoon. Banks were closed on Thursday. This information from al-Sudani, the tripartite meeting with Taif Sami, al-Alaq, and Sudani, again, timely, last night, right? This stuff's coming out. Banks are closed. It's Friday. They even had that meeting last night after banks were closed. Fascinating timing. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to say is that this is like an urgent thing from the Parliamentary Finance has suspended something. So it says the quote is, after sending the 2024 budget schedules to the Council of Ministers, the Parliamentary Finances are suspended. So they've stopped something, okay? Financing. It says today, Friday, the Parliamentary Finance Committee commented on Finance Minister Taif Sami's announcement of sending data related to the 2024 budget schedules to the Council of Ministers. Moeen Al-Kadhimi told Baghdad News, or the country, whatever, Baghdad News, the Ministry of Finance sending data on the 2024 budget tables to the Council of Ministers means that its mission has ended. And we are waiting for the Council of Ministers to vote on these tables and send them within the next few days. So Al-Kadhimi says the Council of Ministers will speed up sending these tables to the House of Representatives, and we, in turn, will have access to them, and some amendments may be made to them. There are many observations, but we cannot view these data except after they officially arrive from the Council of Ministers after he approves it. Forgive the the translation folks. But so the data related to the 2024 budget schedules has been completed. I love that part, completed. The texts have been completed, and they've been sent to the Council of Ministers. Okay, so here we go. She says, I will not, this is Tafe Sammy, I will not release funding for the salaries of the Kurdistan region employees for the month of March until after the resettlement. We talked about the resettlement. They have been talking about resettlement. And resettlement has to do with what I believe from my research is having to do with land valuations that may have been lost in the past, maybe have to be returned, and also the citizens getting replaced or put back to where they belong, because the fact they were displaced during Saddam Hussein, etc. So after resettlement, and so they've been working on that for 4 years or more. Okay, so timing, all of this together is unbelievable. She says, I do not disagree with the decision of the federal court. So she's not going to go against the federal court. Al-Sudani says, I'm not doing it. To the end of that, it says that the Ministry of Finance and the government is continuing to scrutinize the schedules for the 2024 budget as the government carefully confronted the deficit within the 2023 budget. That last part, I'm not so sure there was a deficit, but they always throw in a little bit of a curveball. But hey, everybody, the bottom line is the Minister of Finance sent the 2024 budget schedules, the tables, the text to the Council of Ministers, and her mission to that has ended. It's been completed. The Council of Ministers is to speed up the vote. It's what they say. They're there to speed up the vote, and they have pushed themselves to get this done. Perfect timing or what? It looks like it. I think that what they're doing is they're telling us when you have Al-Sudani, Tafe Sammy, Al-Alaq in the same room, post the Parliamentary Finance Committee summoning Tafe Sammy, the Ministry of Finance, and then summoning also Al-Alaq to talk and describe what their actions are. That all came before this meeting and those 3 decisions by Al-Sudani with Tafe Sammy and Al-Alaq last night. So it's fascinating. Then you have the Al-Abadi coming in and supporting it politically. It's pretty awesome. So hey everybody, quick Friday night evening roundup. Thanks for being here with me. You guys know the score. If you haven't been here before, hit that subscribe button. And if you like what you see, help keep this place going. We have Zelle, Venmo, and PayPal to keep it going. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content. Subscribe to the channel or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.